Boilermakers take one in the series at Maryland, a highly competitive 3 games against the Terrapins before returning home for the start of an 8-game homestand, and Rutgers coming in this weekend. I'm Kyle Charters with the head baseball coach Greg Goff and Ben Turner on This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Golf season is here. Coach, it was a great series against Maryland. Certainly you want to take the series, but no shame in winning a game. It's a Terrapin program that's won 19 consecutive Big Ten series. It was a great weekend, certainly, and to get the game on Friday night was pretty good.
It was huge. You know, I thought our guys showed up over there with the number one thing was the expectation of winning. And our guys played tremendous. I mean, I felt like it was a heavyweight match.
Yeah.
You know, all 3 games were, going down to the last pitch of the last out. And, on the road, you just got to be a little bit better on the road than you do at home. And we come up just a little short. But I thought our guys did everything they could. They put themselves in a position to win. And, we just one hit away from winning those games.
Yeah, really. I mean, that's not an exaggeration, especially in the continuation of the game from Saturday that you finished on Sunday morning. That's a difficult thing to do, in my opinion, especially when you're not the team coming to the plate as you were. Maryland got the opportunity to come to the plate first. Now you held them off the scoreboard. You gave yourself an opportunity then late in that game, just as you said, couldn't get the key hit that you needed at that moment.
That's right. And that's the thing. The schedule was so wild, Kyle. We show up on Friday night and it's 90 degrees and feeling good, and what a great game. We got out to a great start, and we were able to hold on to that thing and finish that game. And then come back on Saturday, and we knew there was some rain involved in it or whatever, and got that thing done. But with the TV game on Sunday at noon, you had to get that game finished. So it was a rise and shine early that morning, as eating breakfast and hanging out in the hotel and getting ready to rock and roll and getting to the field, by 8:30 or so. And I thought our guys handled it really well. I thought those guys showed up with the right mentality, and we felt like if we could put a 0 up, we would catch them. Yeah. And we were right there. We had 2nd and 3rd and 1 out in the 9th, and just couldn't get that big hit.
Right.
Cal Steven goes out Friday and gives you a chance to win, and you do win on Friday. First visiting team to win at Maryland since May 2019. That's quite the streak that they've had, and that's a big reason they've won so many Big Ten series in a row. You had to love the spirit he pitched with, and we understand that when you went out to get him in the 7th, after he started that inning, he didn't want to come out of the game. And you have to love that, even though it's your job to tell him why he's coming out.
Oh, yeah, I love that part of it. I love Cal Steven. He's a bulldog out there, and we've been pretty successful on Friday nights because of his starts and what he does, and just his character, his mentality filters into our program and into our players, and those guys behind him. As you know, when you got somebody on the mound that is a bulldog, you want to make those plays behind him, Ben. And Cal sets the tone for the weekend for us, and also he allows us to not use our bullpen as much and gives us 5 or 6, 7 innings every outing, and no, he didn't want to come out, but the thing I tell him and I tell all our guys is that my job is to make sure we protect them. And whenever those guys get to over 100 pitches or so and really competitive, I worry about that. So, but he's great. He was great, and I felt really good the next day. So excited for him.
When you look back at the stat lines over the course of the season, that one may not jump out as his finest start. But he only gave up 2 runs while he was on the mound, both on solo homers in a bandbox of a ballpark.
Yes.
And we were hearing vibes from the dugout that Terry Rooney believed that was his best outing of the season.
No doubt. He was great. He threw on both sides of the plate. His breaking ball was really good. And the thing with Maryland, you got to throw changeups and some fastball counts, and he was able to get some outs and some swings and misses and things like that. Anytime you hold those guys down in that ballpark, especially that night with the wind, it was 90 degrees and the wind blowing out, it's pretty special.
You ran the winning streak to 5 with the 2 games against Penn State, the midweek games and the Friday night game. One guy that was a big part of that was the reliever Jackson Dannelley, who we'll talk to today. But he had a couple of 7-out saves for you guys. He's been someone who you really have come to rely on a lot out of that bullpen. There's
no doubt, Kyle. He's been awesome. He's just a great competitor, team guy, always bouncing around in the dugouts, and just makes our program better by who he is and what he brings. His spirit is just a winning spirit, and we're so thankful that he's here. And it's awesome to give him the ball and give him a chance, because he's really thrown really well, especially the last few weeks.
It's easier to throw when you've got a guy like Mike Bolton Jr. at the top of your batting order, and Mike again this weekend was outstanding, doing a little bit of everything. I mean, getting on base, stealing bases, advancing on wild pitches, hitting home runs, which he's got, surprising opposite field power. I think that people don't really realize that about him, but he does. It's not a fluke. He can hit the long ball as well. But he gets another steal, a few of them against Maryland. He now is tied for the all-time record at Purdue. Just what a player that he has developed into for you.
He really has, Kyle. I mean, again, comes to our program as a freshman and develops, and he's going to leave here as an all-time career stolen base record. But he did more than that for us. The thing that I was telling some of our coaches in our meetings this morning and yesterday was just his development, his growing up to be a man, and how he leads. It's just really special. For me, the wins and losses are awesome, and but for me to be able to be a part of that and see guys come into the program, I feel like that's my platform and what I want to do and how I want to do it, and a bit to see him grow into that, and just the way he communicates on the bench now with our players and all those things. Is just really proud of Mike.
You've got guys who take a very professional approach to college baseball. I mean, we've mentioned some of them: Cal Stephen, Mike Bolton, Jackson Dannelley. A lot of those guys do it the right way, right? I mean, they take their off days seriously. They do what they're supposed to do in the weight room. They jog after starts. They do all of that kind of stuff. It's nice to see to have that kind of leadership.
It really is. And that's the thing we were talking about. Me and Evan and some other guys on Sunday coming back from the airport, just talking about 2 years ago when we left Maryland to where we are today. It's pretty amazing to see. We wasn't in any of those games and wasn't really prepared for those games, and just to see the progression of our program and the players and development. Man, I'm really, really excited about where we're going and what we're doing for sure.
Lots of hot bats in the lineup. Helped you score 42 runs last week. Paul Tate's 4 multi-hit games. Kornblum had a hit and RBI in every game, batting in the 2-hole. Jake Parr and Connor Cascanet are both riding long streaks right now, and C.J. Valdez had a couple good games at Maryland as well, as he's continued to trend upwards as your DH. That depth in the lineup, I mean, it was a big part of making that series at Maryland so competitive, because we knew they were going to score some runs in that park.
Yes, I've been really pleased. Coach Marks has did a tremendous job with our guys, stepping in. After Coach Frito left, and just really pleased with what he's done with those guys, especially the last few weeks. We really started working with those guys in small groups and really, spend a lot of time with them. And I think they're starting to see, what their hard work has been doing for them. And for those guys, all of it, it just gives us a chance to score every inning now. You're not just at the top heavy or the bottom heavy. Like we got a chance to score every inning now that CJ. Valdez is starting to roll a little bit, get back to what he did for us last year and things of that nature. Man, it's good, and we got to. We're going to play teams this weekend with Rutgers and Indiana and Nebraska. Like those three are probably as good offensive teams in the league. So we're going to have to step up offensively for sure.
Yeah, probably more so than any other program. Rutgers under Steve Owens last 3 years vastly improved from where they were.
Yep.
And when we saw them 2 years ago at our park in 21, end of March. That was kind of the first taste of them under this era, and then last year in the Big Ten tournament.
Right. Talk
about a program on the climb up and going upwards.
Yeah, well, Steve, you can see his background. I've known him a long time, and did a great job at Bryant, and he does a really good job. And that was kind of a program waiting to kind of be taken over and taken to another level, just because of the proximity of it and the amount of people there in baseball on the East Coast. So he did a great job, and we're looking forward to having a chance to compete against him.
Every team this time of year has some injury issues, and I know you, and you're not going to use anything as an excuse for losses or anything like that. But the reality of the situation is we guys nicked up. I joked with our trainer Casey Core over the weekend that he was certainly earning his money on the trip. But we do have some guys that are nicked up right now and trying to get them through the last half of the season. But that's what it's about, right? I mean, you've got some guys that you got to try and manage a little bit, and we've got some big games coming up, and need them out there, but also need to take care of them too.
We do, and Casey, I think, is kind of the unsung hero for us in our program for what he does, and just I don't think people realize the amount of time he just cares so much for our players, and it just means it's not a job to him, and I'm so thankful that he's here and what he does for baseball, and for me personally, a good friend of mine, and again, we are banged up. We have quite a few guys that are hurt and they're fighting through some ailments and things of that nature, Kyle. And hopefully, we can get back to getting those guys healthy before the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, big week, 8 consecutive games at home. I think a lot of people talk about attendance, and they just say things like that. It's been great at Alexander. I mean, 1,500 is not uncommon, and it's been like that consistently. I think this is the most consistent turnout we've had midweek, weekend games. Now, the weather has a little bit to do with that, but also just your program's exposure, I think, to the public. It's been fun at Alexander, to say the least, and we're winning games there too, which has been nice. And it'll be great to spend the next couple of weeks back home.
You can't beat Alexander, And again, just so thankful. Just appreciate the students and them coming out. I mean, we have 500-600 students coming out, and the fan base is just growing every year. It started last year, I felt like, and momentum is continuing. And it's all about the players. Our job's to bring good players in for those folks to come out and watch Mike Bolton run and watch Paul Tates hit bombs and all those things. And it's just really a great time for Purdue baseball and what we're doing, and we just want to continue that trend upward.
Those students were into it when it was the Ball State game.
Oh yeah.
They were rowdy out there.
They were awesome. It's such a huge difference for us, and such a huge home field advantage, and it's just fun, and we've had some big wins out there this year, and a lot of it has to do with just our crowds.
Hey, Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck this weekend at Rutgers.
Big week.
Weekend.
Get your arms loose.
I'll try, but I don't think you really want me out there. A guy that they do want out there, Jackson Dannelley. We will talk to him in just a moment. Thank you to Coach Greg Goff. Be back in just a moment on This Week in Purdue Baseball. It's warming up and golf season is here. As a member of the Pete Dye Golf Trail, Burke Boilermaker courses offer a variety of experiences and services for you to enjoy year-round. Visit PurdueGolf.com/clubhouse to stay up to date with all the latest deals and offerings, as well as construction and related traffic updates for the new clubhouse. That's PurdueGolf.com/clubhouse. Welcome back to This Week in Purdue Baseball. Kyle with Ben, along with the relief pitcher Jackson Dannelley, who had a great week. Couple of saves this week for the Boilermakers. 2 7-inning saves, one against Ball State, one against Maryland. 2 teams that have won 25 games this season. How'd you feel out there?
I felt good. I felt confident. Obviously, both those situations, like, my team's got to go out and put me in that situation.
Yeah.
Both of our starters did great. Relief pitchers came out, got the outs they needed, and offense put together some runs.
Yeah. You like that situation of being in there in close games and sort of having that pressure? You seem to thrive emotionally, I think, in those moments. We've seen you sort of be an excited guy out there. Do you like, pitching when you know that every pitch really matters?
For sure. I had this conversation with someone last week. I said it was like super easy for me to pitch when I know I have to make pitches.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a few people have seen all the pictures of me yelling with the fist bump coming off the mound. But yeah, I definitely do. I love that situation. I feel like I thrive in those situations.
Yeah.
Specifically Friday at Maryland. They hadn't lost a Friday night home game since before the pandemic.
Yeah.
2019, that's a long time. And for you to be the guy that finished them off like that had to be a cool feeling, at their place, under the lights, East Coast, that atmosphere on a Big Ten game, you hadn't maybe gone to that level yet.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to go, honestly, to any home stadium and take one on Friday, but statistically, that was the hardest place to do it. Like I said, Cal gave us a great start. Suvi came in and got some outs that we needed, and then our offense really just hammered them that game.
So I assume you were a starting pitcher in high school, and we know you were in summer ball for the Lafayette Aviators. You've been a reliever for much of your D1 experience at Houston, now here at Purdue. Is that transition, do we make more of it than you do? The pitcher's just, I want the ball whenever you're willing to give it to me.
Yeah, that's kind of, me and Coach Rooney, we talked about it when I first came here, and he was like, you can either throw 1 day a week or we can get you in as many games as possible. And I was like, I want the ball as often as I can get it. So that was kind of the move there.
People might be able to tell you're a Texan, came here from Houston. The boots give it away. Just what brought you north to Purdue?
So Coach Rooney recruited me to Houston.
Yeah.
He ended up leaving to come here. Houston wasn't really the right fit for me, so decided to kind of follow him. I entered the portal and texted him the next day and was like, hey, just entered the portal and seeing if he could help me out with anything. And he was like, I'll call you in 5 minutes. So that's how that went.
So it worked out well, certainly for both sides, it seems. Just you're out there in the bullpen a lot. I'm sure there's some good camaraderie between you guys. Who are some of the characters with you out there in the pen that you can share stories that you're allowed to share?
I think somebody that everyone needs to have a conversation with is Aaron Subal, for sure. Lambo's another great character. You see him go out there, and he's got that high competitive spirit too. So it's fun to watch him get after some guys too. But Suvi's something else. He's a character for sure.
You know what he did this week? He stepped on a baseball on Wednesday during BP. He was in a boot for a couple of days, and then he goes out there. And I know the numbers don't look, fantastic in that game against Maryland on Friday. But as you said, he gave you outs that sort of extended the game. And you guys sort of switched roles a little bit in some ways on that game with you being the last guy out of the pen. But, impressive to be able to do that, not being 100% and go out there and get some outs.
Yeah, Suvi's he's a competitor. Obviously, he had the ankle thing. He's been a little banged up on his oblique for a little bit now. But, I mean, just to, everything he was doing leading up to that moment to, be ready to go in and want the ball, super admirable. I mean, given everything that was wrong, I think he did a great job. Got some huge outs.
Yeah.
So,
42 runs last week for the lineup, which obviously helps the pitchers. I'm sure you guys love to see it. Hot bats, there were a bunch of them. Tates, Kornblum, Parr, Cascanet, Valdez. Any of those guys a tougher matchup for you that you wouldn't want to face right now, considering how they're swinging it?
Honestly, all of them. I faced them all fall, and I think everyone you just named has had good at-bats off me. Obviously, Parr's super duper hot right now. I mean, he's tearing it up. CJ's heating up. Paul Tates. I mean, it's really nice having all those guys in the lineup because and you saw it this weekend. I mean, someone gets out in a rough situation, next guy comes up, picks him up. We got a barrel at any time. 1 through 9, it's a great feeling. 2
summers with the Lafayette Aviators, so I assume you built a comfort level here in Greater Lafayette. That's a summer ball team that's come a long way in the last few years since Loeb Stadium opened, and you experienced the new Loeb the last couple of years. They have great crowds as well. How much did that impact your choice to want to stay here at Purdue and in Greater Lafayette?
It definitely had a little impact. The first summer I played here, I was going to Houston, so I didn't have huge intentions on Purdue. I was going out there and having fun. And then this past summer, I was obviously in the portal for the first couple weeks. And when I committed to Purdue, all the fans were super supportive. Everyone was super supportive. I was getting text messages, emails, everyone telling me how excited they were to come watch me at both games. So it influenced it for sure, but it was a good feeling.
We opened down in Texas at Sugar Land for the second year in a row. You were obviously part of this trip down there, just nearby Houston. What was that like? I know that from our perspective, we could hear pretty much your whole family and all your friends. It seemed like they dominated the entire crowd that weekend. How many did you have down there, and how nice was it to be able to open up like that?
I think I had a total of 10 to 15 family members down there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like I said, I played summer ball up here, so I got home from school in the spring for 2 days, came back up here. So I didn't get a lot of family time, but it was really good to see everybody. I had some uncles come out that I haven't seen in a couple of years.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was great.
They're loud. Your family was loud.
Very loud. They were very loud. Always have been. Always have been.
All right, we close out the player segment with what we call personal preferences. We just trying to learn more about you, JD. So I always say there are no wrong answers. However, you do have to pick a number, and this week we're between 1 and 20.
19.
19. Everybody loves to pick their number. All right, you got a Purdue professor whose class you enjoyed.
I'd say Dr. Dale's sales class.
That was in selling and sales management?
Yes, yeah.
Which semester did you have that?
Last semester, fall semester.
Gotcha. Between 1 and 19, or 1 and 20, don't pick 19.
7.
7. Your favorite multimedia app? I can give you some examples if you want, or you maybe have something in mind.
I'm a huge TikTok guy.
Okay.
Huge TikTok guy.
Well, unfortunately, Purdue is not the best place for TikTok right now, but it is what it is. But that one is certainly gaining steam.
Yeah, data's gone up a lot.
Fair enough. That can be a problem sometimes. All right, last one between 1 and 20. Don't pick 7. Don't pick 19.
11.
11. Favorite holiday?
Definitely Thanksgiving. I'm a big Thanksgiving guy.
That one gets better as you get older.
Yeah.
When you're younger, Christmas is better. Halloween, it falls in between those two. Gets overlooked.
Yeah.
Older,
I feel like I enjoy it a lot right now because we're doing so much.
Yeah.
So I can go home,
sure.
eat my weight in food, come back up here, do the Omaha Challenge. That was rough.
Yes.
That was rough.
They placed the Omaha Challenge right after Thanksgiving
That
break
was
for a
rough.
reason. That's true. But yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Getting better with age.
Easy to love Thanksgiving. They do feed us well on baseball road trips.
Yes, they do. They do. They do a good job. Hunter Roberts, shout out to you. You do a great job. Great job.
It's been a particularly good year, it seems like, from the food category. This weekend, Rutgers coming into town. Obviously, Scarlet Knights are a good baseball team. What do you guys feel like you have to get done to get another series win?
Yeah, I feel like it's looking really good this weekend. Offense is staying super hot. Like I said, in order to go down there and do what we did to Maryland, all 3 games, I mean, every game was 2 to 3 pitches could have went our way and we would have won. I think game, what was that, 3, we were literally 2 inches away from tying it up when Coop hit one off the wall.
Yeah.
Pitching, our starting pitching has been really good. I know quality outings, and we're going to put some runs together, and then the bullpen's just got to come in and do our job.
Yeah. Well, best of luck this week and this weekend and the rest of the season as well.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
That's Jackson Dannelley. Thanks for coming on the program. That'll do it for this week. We'll be back again, of course, next week with more as we talk about the Boilermakers. For Greg Goff earlier, I'm Kyle Charters. This is This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented